There's a lot of stuff that should be falling from the mid-April skies. A warm, gentle rain, fog creeping in like little cat feet. But sleet following a day of snow that dumped 8 inches on us, 8 to 10 inches, not one of them. But anyway, first thing I want to do is I want to point out the link that's on this video. It points you to a video that one of our friends, YouTube friends, Green Tangle, downloaded. It's on the traditional crossbows of the Liso minority tribe in, I'm going to say, the Yunnan province of China. It's worth watching. Now, what I'm holding here is, yes, it's a bow, but it's the prod to my big ash crossbow, and I'm going to give you a little quiz here. What is different about this prod? This is the back. You can see it's got some reflex. What is different? Yep, I seen you back there. Pole barn is right there, and I was lucky. A long time ago, I experimented with sinew backing paddle bows. I forgot I did it, and I had bad. What kind of wood was that? Hickory, bad hickory, that was damaged by fungus. It was just crappy wood, and I didn't realize it until I had made some bows out of it, including sinew backing a bow out of this bad hickory. And because of the fungus, the unbacked ones just crackled. It's just brittle, bad bows. And so before I realized it was fungus that was doing it, because I was new in my paddle bow career, sinew backed it. Well, because of that fungus, the sinew peeled off that bow in one nice layer, as if I put that sinew on it on wax paper. It was just a beautiful paddle-shaped bow sheet of sinew. And there's a lot that goes onto a 2.5-inch wide limb, 66-inch long bow. And what I did is I just threw it in the pole barn and forgot about it. So years later, I was cleaning in the corners and the cubbies of the pole barn, and I found this beautiful sheet of sinew. It's like, wow. You know, my big ash, get your mind out of the gutter, Larry, was such a good performer. 200 yards with my circa 1,000 grain bolts. And it's like, if I sinew back that, I bet you I can do 250 yards. And so how I worked that is, first I had to take this ash bow that had a year or two of grease and wax on it, and I had to clean that off with a lye solution in the kitchen, being very careful, because you can imagine just a double base sink, you know, it's hanging out, so I had to be really careful with it. And because of the wax layer and the grease, I had to use a stronger solution. In my video on how to degrease bows, I used 1 ounce per quart of water. In this case, I used 1.5 ounces of red devil lye to a quart, and it worked out well. Next step, I heat treated the belly, but I didn't do it to the point of scorching. I just did it to the point of color change. Step 3, I took that roll of sinew and I rolled it up like a roll of paper towels, and I had this great little saucepan that worked, and I put a gluey mixture, a weak, hide gluey mixture in that for it to soak. And you can imagine that with the previous glue that was in that sinew that I used to stick to that bow unsuccessfully, and soaking it in the gluey mixture, this stuff was ready to go. It was like one of those postage stamps. You just peel the back off and you're ready to go. I didn't need to worry so much about dipping it, you know, when I was sinew backing, but I still did. Instead of separating that into its individual fibers, what I did was I separated it because it was rolled. I pulled up the end, and I pulled off the individual bundles that I had originally put on that paddle bow. So it was a very quick process. And so the individual bundles, just brickwork, 1.5 layers, a full layer on the edges and then one down the center. Half an hour. Probably it took me half an hour to 45 minutes to put the sinew on this. It was a very fast process. I reused sinew that was just sitting here waiting to be used on something. I took this prod, which is a beautiful long bow, that hopefully I can get 250 yards. Okay, so next up, I'm thinking, I've got a bow, a crossbow that can shoot 250 yards, potentially with the sinew. You know, if it was a heavier one, it could do that, just a self bow. But the power of a wooden prodded crossbow with that huge power stroke, because it's 32.5-inch draw. That's a massive power stroke. With a bow that's much less than, say, a steel-prodded arbalist, requiring a, what do you call those things? A windlass or, you know, a goat's foot lever or something like that. That with mine, using the stirrup and just pulling it, I can cycle that pretty fast. I can cycle it probably faster than I could loading the main weapon on an Abrams tank, where sitting in the loader seat, hit the lever with your knee, the hatch opens, you grab the round, rotate it carefully, not hitting the tip on anything hard. There's a lot of hard things in an Abrams. Slamming it into the breech, locking the breech, and then round out. The standard for that is 5 seconds. I can beat that with this, especially if I'm not using the trigger lock. And so you've got, and I'm not going to equate this with people because I'm not in that sort of mood. Rarely am, you know, as far as like, I'm not even going to say it. We're talking zombies here. Not Carl Lewis 10-second per 100-meter dash breaking zombies, but just moderate zombies carrying zombie stuff. And once they enter that 250 from the shooter of these wooden prodded crossbows to the point where they're eating your brains, they have to cover a certain amount of ground. They're carrying zombie things, whatever zombies like to pack with them. And so they're not doing 10 seconds every 100 yards. Let's give them some credit. They're fit zombies, 15 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, because they're kind of carrying stuff along and walking into the line of fire. How many rounds, how many bolts can I light off between them entering the 250-meter zombie kill zone and the brain-eating zone? 2 or 3 times more than I could if I had a heavier steel prodded crossbow and had to use a windlass or a lever. The one thing about these wooden things that are lighter weight but a longer power stroke is that you have a much higher firing rate of fire. And so that's something to think about. Okay, close-up time. These kind of signify where it goes. It's centered. Wrap the tip. Beautiful layer right here. And again, I didn't darken it too much with the scorching, just color change. And now I have the potential for 250 yards with my sinew-backed Big Ash crossbow. Mighty fine. Might not have to go to Osage Orange, although that stock can support it. I will do that. Again, check out Green Tangle's video on the Lisu Minority Tribes crossbows. Enjoy your day, and I hope that you've got spring-like weather. This is somewhat disheartening, but it is what it is. Thank you for watching.